for people who come in and maybe they don't see your face here every day, or you're doing other things or whatever, tell me who you are and how much you love Premier Pools and Spas.
Well, I'm Keith Harbeck. I'm the co-founder of Premier Pools and Spas, started in 1988. And I love what we do because it's more, I think, than building swimming pools. I think we might play a small role in creating just beautiful memories and times for families and friends to get together.
Tell me a little bit about the beginnings of Premier Pools and Spas. So talk about your move from the Bay Area and what you were doing.
Been married, had my first child, and was living in the Bay Area doing pool service and repair. But at that point, I wanted to buy a home. And so I looked around for homes to buy in the Bay Area and realized I couldn't afford to live in the Bay Area. So I sold that service and repair business and used the money from the sale to put a down payment on a house here in Sacramento and started a new pool service and repair business here in Sacramento. And so that was in 1986.
Okay, so when did that transition come between service to actual builds of pools? How did that, explain to me that transition?
Well, as I started my business here in Sacramento, one of the things I was able to do was do startups for pool builders. They would build the pool, they'd hire a service company to go start the pool and put chemicals in and then help the homeowner see how to operate their pool. And I met one builder in particular that I had a little relationship with, and he said, "Why don't you come to work here and design and sell pools?" And so I was at a point, I was 30 years old and had been doing pool service and repair for a while. And so I was getting a little bored with that. I thought this will be fun, this will be interesting. And so I went to work there to design and sell pools. Unfortunately, I didn't know the financial stability of that company. And within 9 months, they went out of business. So one of the gentlemen that was working at that pool company as well and we talked. We said, "I think we can do this better on our own." And so we decided on the name Premier Pools and printed up some flyers and went around neighborhoods passing out flyers trying to find somebody who's interested in building a pool.
I'm always so interested in the timeline of an entrepreneurial journey. So I want to ask you about the time you spent in service, doing pool service, because you had this ongoing relationship with customers. And most of the time in a pool company, you see the salesperson, they come out, and then maybe you don't see anyone else. But this kind of, this informed your philosophy about business. Tell me how those years of service helped you build out your philosophy for Premier.
I enjoy making people happy. And so when I had my service business, I was very much, when I was cleaning the pools myself, or when I had someone clean them for me, I was very much interested in how the customer felt, not just about action I was performing, but about me and how I treated them. And I took a lot of pride in people being happy with what we were doing for them. And when I was exposed to the pool building side as the designer, what I found out in this industry, which didn't fit with me and my personality, was a lot of times the pool builder just sends a salesperson to sell the pool, and then he kind of disappears and the homeowner doesn't see him anymore. I just didn't think that was the right way to do it. I felt like if you're the person at the kitchen table making promises and representations, then shouldn't you be the person to take them through that journey and help them with the whole building process and be available to them? So that was a big change in the way we were going to do things compared to my brief exposure to how most pool companies did it.
So that's what set Premier Pools and Spas aside immediately, is that philosophy of intense customer service and taking people through the whole journey. So tell me how that informed your hiring. I mean, when you look for people, even today for Premier Pools and Spas, what are the characteristics you're seeking?
For people who are very interested in other people that want to make people happy, basically. We have a saying that we hire not for skill, but we hire for character. I believe that in this industry in particular, we can train and teach people kind of the skill set that they need, but I can't necessarily teach people to be good people or to be nice people. And sometimes in the industry, when I tried to hire salespeople from other pool builders, that way of being business was too ingrained. So I've had a lot of success from hiring people from outside the industry that are just good people, that want to treat people fairly and honestly and want to make people happy, enjoy people, and then we can teach them the skill set. And we do that not just with salespeople and designers, but there's schedulers and the people that answer the phone and in customer service. And, building a pool, it has to be a high quality pool. And I take pride in the way we build a pool. But it's not going to necessarily be the differentiator. We talk a lot about the experience. What does it feel like to do business with us? How do they feel about it? Do they enjoy the process of building a pool? Is it exciting? Is it fun? Or is it really stressful? And it can be stressful. It can be a little nerve-wracking for people. It's a huge project. They're spending a lot of money on it. It's not a necessity. We realize this is a kind of a high-end luxury product. They didn't need it. They did it to improve their family life, to relieve stress. So if we start bringing on stress in the build process, it can be a pretty emotional reaction to it. So we're constantly wanting to kind of make sure people are enjoying the whole journey, the process of having the pool built.
Wow, making sure they're enjoying the journey. That's fantastic because, at the end of it, they get a place to make memories with their family.
Exactly. And one of my favorite things in the early days of going to home shows, when I worked the booths at home shows, people who I built a pool for the year or two before would come out and they'd remember me. Most people only build one pool. They remember the guy who built it for them. And they come up and say, that's the best thing we've ever done for me.
That is rewarding. I remember as a kid, my parents came to my sister and I and said, okay, this year we're either going to take a vacation to Disney World or we're going to get a pool. You get to choose. And I remember my sister and I immediately were like, pool. So you're right. It's a commitment. It's a decision that families make.
Right. And I think sometimes the people building pools think of it too much as just a construction project kind of thing. And it's not. It is something far more emotional than that. There's almost one of the sayings I heard in the early days when I went to work for that other pool company was, it's construction. Nobody's going to like it. Just get them wet. And there'll be sometimes things that people don't understand or that make them nervous, and you have to kind of walk them through it. But it should be more exciting than stressful. It should be like, I can't believe how well this is going and how I'm being treated. So that's very important.
Talk to me about your designers, because one of the couples that we interviewed in particular said, oh my gosh, Steve is amazing. Steve is great. We would tell people about Steve. He will text us back at midnight if we have a question. We feel like, even though we've built the pool and it's a year old, no matter how old the pool gets, he's always going to be there for us. So tell me about your team of designers.
Rather than just be designers of pools, we talk about the relationships, and we want to be, the saying we use sometimes, we want to be your pool builder for life, right? The construction project may be over, but if you have questions, concerns, needs, anything related at all to that pool, we'd love to continue the relationship and be there for people.
So when you look for designers for your company, what kind of people are you looking for?
Sometimes you think of yourself as a construction company, but when people use words like, well, you were patient, you were kind, you were understanding, people were polite. I just love to hear those words associated with a construction company, right? Because it's the attitude and how you treat people that's so important.
So we've talked a lot about the philosophy of the company and kind of how you built it that way. Let's talk about just building the company in general. So you find a place, you and your partner, you start at the pool. Talk to me about some of those early days, some of the things you did to get the business going.
Very early days, we were doing the selling, designing, then hiring. At that point, we used mostly, in the very beginning, we used mostly subcontractors. So you would be getting price lists from them, paying the bills. So there was a lot of administrative things in addition to selling and supervising our own projects.
And designing, right? Because you were designing pools.
Yeah, pulling the permits. My wife used to do color board renderings for me that I could present to homeowners, and she would help pull the permits in the early days. One of the things we found very early on, though, is that we didn't like having to rely on all subcontractors to do the work. Not that they weren't capable, but when you're trying to create an experience and do things a certain way and treat people, it was nicer and to have control over the whole construction process. We quickly decided we were going to try to do as many things in-house with our own employees as possible. And so that took a while because equipment is expensive and so forth. One of the first things we did was steel and plumbing and electrical, and then we were able to add tile and then excavation. So bringing those things in-house to maintain control and try our very best for building a pool fairly quickly if we could. There's no way to keep that experience and that customer satisfaction high if you take too long. So by having our own in-house crews, it's always given us more control. And then the other thing is, if there is warranty work, if something needs to be fixed after the fact, it's far easier to do that if you have your own people than if you're trying to contact a third party and make them to come out and take care of it.
So that's like really, I mean, I never even thought of it, but that's such a smart philosophy business-wise to control those timelines. Because you're right, controlling those timelines helps keep the customer excited, keeps them anticipating and not feeling resentful that something's been sitting empty in their backyard with, a big hole with nothing going on.
It's disruptive, right? You're in their backyard. You've torn things apart kind of to get going. You've dug this big hole and it's not necessarily attractive. It's not a fun place to be walking around. So if you can just keep the pace going, keep them informed. That's another huge thing. If there is going to be a delay in construction, don't wait for them to call you saying what in the world is going on. Let them know, oh, by the way, we're a little backed up at the tile phase right now. It'll be a week, but then we'll be out there. Businesses complain about customers and they complain about people being unreasonable. Things have changed over the years, but I don't find that people, as a rule, are unreasonable. People expect communication. They expect proper expectations, and they expect you to keep your word.
So I'm hearing speed of construction and I'm hearing communication. So important. What is your favorite part in the process? Or what was it early on, your favorite part in the process?
I enjoyed going to a house where I didn't, because I like people and I'd get to know the family. And then I do like people. And so I'd want to do what they wanted. What is it that you're looking for? What can I design for you? So that part was fun. And I'm a little competitive by nature, and they were usually getting other bids. Mm-hmm. So I liked trying to win. Mm-hmm. So that was really fun, designing, selling the pool. But to me, the real fun for me was then the communication throughout construction and making sure they were enjoying having it done. And then my favorite part was when it was finished, and I could go by the finished pool and see how happy they were with it.
Customers' tastes in pools changed over the years, like what they used to want back in the 90s versus now.
When I was selling pools, when we started 36 years ago, most of my designs were freeform pools, soft curves and shapes. Did a lot of rock work and waterfalls. We still do those pools, and we have a display pool with a style like that. But over the years, especially maybe the last 5 to 7 years or so, very much more modern, straight lines, geometric kind of shapes. Some things remain constant. We don't do too many real deep pools with diving boards like people did back in the late 60s and 70s. A shallower pool, maybe 6 feet deep kind of thing. But yeah, the tastes do change, colors change. I used to do a lot of white plaster interior, which when you fill the pool with water makes it sky blue. I always use the example like Hearst Castle. That's a white plaster pool, very formal. Over the years, went to darker blue colors and shades and things like that.
Let's start with talking about what's in style this year. What are customers wanting this year?
So this year we are seeing very much that more formal straight line, kind of minimalist in a way. What I noticed the other day, every Tuesday I get report cards from the pools we finished last week, and I get pictures of the pools that we finished. So my favorite part of the week to see how people are feeling about us. But I noticed the other week I made a comment about it. I said, 3/4 of these pools are rectangles. Not strict rectangles, but maybe rectangles with a little jut out kind of thing. And so that's very, very, very popular right now, straight line.
What is some of the feedback you get from customers, the positive feedback about the difference the pool has made in their family's life, or how much they're enjoying it, or the compliments that have surprised you?
I remember my parents rented a house when I was 10 years old, and it had a swimming pool in the backyard, and I just couldn't believe it. But then I noticed that as I was growing up, my friends would come to that house, right? I would be home, my parents would meet my friends, see my friends. I could remember listening to baseball games with my dad in the backyard on the radio, by our pool. So those kinds of things, I think, are what make what we do so rewarding. The amount of interaction that families have, especially now where there's so much time, just screen time and digital time, just to be able to walk out your back door and play together.
Yeah. Economically, it's a little bit of a tough time. A lot of families are making choices about how they spend their money, and maybe don't have a huge budget for a pool, but they've got, they've set aside some money and they've made a commitment to it. How is Premier Pools and Spas in working with people and working with their budgets and find something that works for them?
Yeah, I've always tried to not just be one style of pool builder. We build pools, we call them monuments, just very elaborate pools, and they're beautiful. But I always want to be able to build just a simple backyard pool for a family, because they can be works of art and beautiful, or they could just be a little recreation spot. So I kind of want to be all things to all people. I want to be able to build the simple pool, the elaborate pool, just whatever suits them.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Premier Pools and Spas in the community. You've been around a long time. You've kind of swept in and finished projects that other companies for some reason could not, and known as being a company that keeps its word and stays on time and on budget. That reputation must mean a lot to you, and what do you do to continually keep it?
Yeah, the reputation is everything to me, and not just from a business sense. People who care passionately about that just because it's who they are the kind of people I like to have here at Premier Pools. But it also secures your business. When the economy changes, the pool industry will feel it first. I say when they on the news, when they talk about leading economic indicators, talk to pool builders. They'll tell you what's going on, because the minute people are a little bit nervous or concerned, that's not a decision they'll make. So we can see that hey, people are a little more nervous about making the investment now. So,
but when they do decide to make that investment, the Disney World trip versus building a pool that's going to last for a long time and make those memories as a family for years to come, not just a one-time thing. What can they expect from Premier Pools and Spas?
I tell people all the time, you enjoy your pool not just when you're swimming in it. There's something about that body of water in the backyard. I know often if I go out to read or have a cup of coffee, I'm not planning on swimming. It's a nice place to be. It's a crazy world, and sometimes just having your own kind of vacation spot in your own backyard that you can enjoy in an instant. You don't have to pack, you don't have to travel, you don't have to plan. It's there waiting for you.